Today on the channel from Jack's Classic Superstars 2-Pack Series 4, we've got Col Mustafa and Sergeant Slaughter.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Jack's Classic Superstars 2-Pack unboxing and review. And today from Series 4 2-Packs, we've got Col Mustafa and Sergeant Slaughter, of course, the Toys R Us exclusive. But for all your modern day wrestling figure needs, make sure you're hitting up Ringside Collectibles. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. And we're going to do this review like we do all the other ones here on the channel. Kinda. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. But I do have these unboxed already that we will show and talk about here. So without further ado, let's grab the great Colonel. Let's grab Sergeant Slaughter. I want my country back. Oh, yes, Sergeant Slaughter does. This is a little bit before that, of course. This is when he teamed up with Col Mustafa and General Adnan, became Iraqi sympathizers, cheated the Ultimate Warrior with the help of the Macho Man out of the world title at the Royal Rumble, and then went on to lose the title to Hulk Hogan at, of course, WrestleMania. But definitely an interesting pack. One that sounds great in theory, but execution, a little bit to be desired. We'll talk about that a little bit, but big window there. Classic Superstars packaging. Col Mustafa, Sergeant Slaughter. On the back there, or on the side, I should say, there's a little glamour shot of each of them. And then on the back, got two glamour shots, got the tails of the tape. Notice Sergeant Slaughter's got glasses on, but no glasses in this figure. And then you got the cross cell down below. You got Mustafa and Slaughter. You got an early Hulk Hogan and Freddie Blassie. You got Paul Bearer and The Undertaker, UPC's warnings. Let's see what it says about old Col Mustafa. Of course, the Iron Sheik. He wasn't fooling anybody at the time, unless you were a brand new fan at the time. So very interesting, but I think they felt he fit the mold for this. And it kind of would have been nice to keep him as the Iron Sheik, but I see why they did it, I guess. Debuted 1972, 261 pounds, 6'1". Finishing move, the camel clutch. Titles, WWE Champion, WWE World Tag Team Champion, WWE Manager, WWE Hall of Fame inductee. Sergeant Slaughter debuted in 1975, 320 pounds, 6'6". Finishing move, the Cobra Clutch. Titles, WWE Champion 4 times? I don't think so. NWA United States Champion, NWA Tag Team Champion, AWA America's Champion. His favorite quote, of course, "What's a Nemesis Enforcer?" Oh, no, I read that wrong. That's in order. Yes, that's an order right there. So, an interesting 2-pack, one that makes a lot of sense, and one that's, of course, many, many years later, Mattel did put in the elite line of a Col Mustafa and a Sergeant Slaughter. As of now, still no General Adnan from Jack's back in the day or Mattel. Hopefully, we can complete that triangle of terror one of these days. We'll see what happens. But let's take a look at these two. We got the Sarge. We're going to go Col Mustafa first. We got the same headdress on both of these. We've seen it before. I was going to say we'll see it again, but I don't know if we see it again in any of these classic videos from where we're up to. But we usually see it with the Iron Sheik, the Sheik, and of course Sabu. Now here with Col Mustafa. But really nice. It does fit the decor. I'm glad they didn't give us just a plain white one like we've seen with Sabu. They gave one with some color and things. Very cool to get that. Then you get Col Mustafa here, and I believe I am correct. I don't think they ever reused this body mold. Did we ever see this body mold again? Was it a one and done for Col Mustafa? Seems crazy, but I'm trying to think if we ever saw it. But definitely it's kind of a big suited body here, and it is a big, big body. And that's one of the biggest frustrations I had with this 2-pack. It sounded good, but the scaling between these two. He's supposed to be 320. He's supposed to be 261. He's supposed to be 6'1". He's supposed to be 6'6". The scaling, which I usually give Jax a pass for, this one is such a glaring difference. It doesn't make a lot of sense here. So it looks very strange. Wish Mustafa was smaller or Slaughter bigger, preferably Mustafa smaller. Would have really made this set pop a heck of a lot more. Really disappointing at the end of the day between these two. But Col Mustafa looking interesting. Of course, got all the badges and stuff like that, the medals there on his shirt. You do got the classic Iron Sheik type boots, got the camels on the side, got kind of that desert tan color throughout. An okay looking figure by itself. It's just you lose things when you pair these two together for me. Articulation going to be the same for both of these. Arms go all the way around. Bicep cut, single jointed elbow, hands back forth, side to side. Waist articulation, of course. Head side to side, back and forth. knee articulation, ankle articulation, all single jointed, as you can imagine, from Jax at this point. So there's old Colonel Mustafa looking good as he can, I guess, as he can. But then we get Sergeant Slaughter, who, of course, was a big deal. Kind of surprised we didn't get the world title with him. Would have been nice to see that purple title belt in the Jax line, but wasn't the case. We did get the accessory as far as the Billy Club here, the old Big Boss Man nightstick. So an interesting throw in with him. We do get a Fist of Fury where on the back he's shown with 2 gripping hands. Does have 1 fisted hand here. You got some of those same medals we saw with Colonel Mustafa. We see with Sergeant Slaughter. Same exact headdress for Slaughter that we got with Mustafa. Definitely all day long. You know this is Sergeant Slaughter in the head sculpt department. It looks just spot on. Got the old horseshoe around the back. Got the mustache you can set your watch to if you need to. He does got the army boots with the curl at the end. Very Colonel Mustafa Iron Sheik-like. Really, I think something was really cool about the Slaughter gimmick at the time. Just a little touch like that went a long way. This just screamed evil foreigner, and he'd really joined the foreign side is how it felt there. Just a little touch that looked really good. Then he's got like kind of an army suit going on as well, very similar to Colonel Mustafa. But an interesting version of Sergeant Slaughter. Definitely not the most iconic Sergeant Slaughter, but a moment in time, you definitely had to be there. It was a big, big heel turn at the time. It just definitely felt really crazy and really different for Sergeant Slaughter. And then, of course, some 8 months, a year after, whatever it was, he came crawling back, wanting his country back, and old Hacksaw put the 2x4 around and gave him the big old hug and let him join up with them. It's definitely an interesting time for Sergeant Slaughter, and that was really Sergeant Slaughter's last hurrah, as we do know. He bounced around a few different places for a while, went backstage, had quite the boot camp match with Triple H back there in the day, and was that probably Monday Night Raw, or was that an in-your-house pay-per-view, something like that, but he did have a boot camp match, and that was really his final wrestling ring hurrah, I would say. He had a couple of matches since then, maybe I think he was in the gimmick battle royal things, but that was truly his last hurrah, but this was his last time really sniffing and being around the title picture. So quite the time for old Sergeant Slaughter. Quite the time for Colonel Mustafa. You can say a lot of the same stuff about the Iron Sheik. That was really his last hurrah on a national level for a long run there. But very, very cool. Just didn't kind of translate to action figure form the way we would have wanted it to. That's kind of my final opinion on this set. But what do you guys think about this set? Picking it up back in the day? Did you pass on it? Did you play the long game? Did you never know it existed? Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, you've also made it this far. You might as well like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the old notification bell as we got videos every single day. And every single Tuesday is Jack's Classics Day here on the channel and the Patreon. You get those all early. You can get the Q&As, the bonus content, you name it. It's all over there. And truly the best way to support the channel and all the content. You can also support the channel over at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. And don't forget to follow along and hit me up over on social media. SirPaul64 on Twitter. Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for Colonel Mustafa and Sergeant Slaughter, I am Kyle. See you guys all real soon.